Hello and welcome to our next episode of Adventures in Real Estate. I'm here with Kristen Wright, and she is disrupting the whole residential real estate market with her unique and very, very successful program. And we'll talk to her about that. And so we're looking forward to talking to her. All right, so we're going to get right into this. I am here with Kristen Wright. She's with Fathom Realty. And she's got a unique take on everything. So welcome, Kristen.
Thanks for having me, Darwin.
No, you're very welcome. Now, a little disclosure here. We've become very good friends. So
yes,
this is our first video podcast. So she is our guinea pig on doing this.
Yes.
You want to say anything about guinea pigs?
No, nothing. Nothing at all.
Okay, good. Well, and she has been, how long have you been a residential real estate agent now?
It will be 4 years in October. So 3 years.
So, and you're doing quite well, aren't you?
Thank you. Yes, I'm having an absolute blast.
Absolute blast. How many are on your team now?
We have a total of 9 people.
9 people, all women though. You discriminate against men. Why is that?
I have not discriminated against men. But yeah, I don't know why. We are definitely looking for a few good men to balance out our team. But right now we just happen to be 9 women.
9 women. And you're very selective over who you pick.
I'm insanely picky.
And why is that?
Because we're not the traditional real estate team. So we definitely have a focus on customer service and on being a shark with somebody's money. So we believe very strongly in customer service and in making sure that we are incredible stewards for our clients.
Okay, so you think there's a problem with residential real estate, right?
So my personal conviction is I approach residential real estate very differently. I think there are some enormously successful residential realtors out there that I've learned a ton from, but my approach just happens to be different. And so I have a very long background in the customer experience with a telecommunications company.
One of the biggest, by the way, which she's not allowed to disclose.
And one of my very favorite. And so this particular company I was with just close to 22 years, and I had always held different roles with the customer experience. And
what kind of roles?
Whether it was executive escalations, whether it was customer service, service delivery, measuring the customer experience, things that were all about the delivery for the customer experience, and then how we resolved their situations. It was always a very heavy focus on that. I never worked in sales. I was asked to pursue sales, but I never wanted to do sales. Sales just wasn't something in the way that I was wired. It wasn't attractive to me, but I love the customer service.
But now you're in sales.
No, I'm really not.
Okay,
I'm in
good.
real estate, but I have very deep conviction for me and my team and our approach that we focus heavily on the customer experience. And then we're sharks with their money.
Okay, you do things a few things that are different. When you're going in for a listing appointment, you are telling them what you're going to do differently. And what do you do differently?
So when someone buys or sells a home, it is typically one of the largest investments that they have in their life.
Absolutely.
And so with that comes an enormous amount of stress. And you cannot remove the stress from a residential real estate transaction, but you can reduce it. And so our goal is to go in and influence all of the points where we can reduce it. So we meet with them and we sit down and we talk about what those points are. I provide for all of my clients a in-home stager. So she will go through their house room by room, and we talk about how to make that house look as great as it possibly can in the pictures, because that's what it's about. Because people now buy homes sitting on their sofa watching Netflix and in one of the online residential real estate apps. So pictures matter. We also provide a professional organizer who will come in and work with the client. And typically they focus on a pantry or they focus on the master bedroom closet. They can do anything, but it's things that really help the client declutter.
What do they do? Just declutter?
They declutter, they make it look organized. Anytime something looks organized, there appears to be a better visual of the space. And so that's what matters when you're selling your home. You want to see how much space is really in there. And so when I say we provide, we pay for these things, not the client. We also have amazing photographers. We're extremely selective with it. I want beautiful pictures, but not deceitful pictures. So there's nothing that makes a buyer more frustrated than going in and seeing a room that looks like it's a football field in space, but it's actually 10 by 10. And so we just want very beautiful pictures, but are very accurate. And that's taken us a while to find, but we're really selective and we've done good pictures. We provide beautiful floral arrangements for our photo shoots. And typically we try to do the time frame from the time you get pictures to it's about 4 or 5 days till the open house. And so those floral arrangements people always comment on. We provide moving boxes. So your first big bulk set of moving boxes we will help you with, and that comes after the stager and the organizer. So we're just there to help. And then throughout the entire process, we have communication so that our goal is to always provide information on the next step so you don't have to wonder. And of course, you can ask us questions at any time. We work really hard with our clients to know how they want to communicate. Do they want to text? Do they want just a phone call? Do they want an email? What works best for them? And that's what we provide. And then once we sell the home, before the buyer moves in, we have the home professionally cleaned. And that's just good karma. And from a seller perspective, the very last thing they want to do is once they're out of the house, they don't want to go back and clean it for somebody else. But they know it's a nice thing to do. So we take care of that for them as well.
That is very nice. That all comes from your service background, I guess, rather than sales background.
It does. It does, because I have no sales background. Right.
Oh, man. So you're a horrible salesperson.
I am not.
I know you're not. Absolutely
I know. No, I believe when you are extremely focused on the client and on serving the client, there's an innate ability to also really be focused on their money. And so let's face it, you can make good money in real estate. Yes. But part of the reason why my business is being really successful is I reinvest that into my clients. And so I continue to look for ways on how do I help them. And then we absolutely negotiate. So I've asked my team not to attend sales trainings. I don't, say you can't, but I'm like, please don't. Instead, I would like for them to focus on negotiation. And that's what we are really, really good at. So, and we're really good at it because we're so focused on the customer experience. We don't want to let them down, especially when it comes to their money.
You've also gotten very creative in some of your marketing. I remember something about a frog, maybe?
Yeah, we did have a frog. That's funny that you remember that. So we were asked to list a home on a street called Lily Pad. And at the time that we listed, there were 5 other active homes. And they were not moving as quickly as their homeowners obviously wanted them to move. And so I asked my client at the time, do you care if we get a little creative in our marketing? And she didn't. And so we hired one of my kids to dress up in a frog outfit because, truly God just gave us the opportunity by giving us a listing on a street named Lilypad. And so we kept it classy, we kept it professional, but we had a few pictures interspersed with a frog in it. And that home was on the market, I believe 16 days and got under contract. And
before the other 5?
I think it was before the other 5, maybe before 4. I would have to go back and look.
But still, and you attribute that to the creative marketing that you did?
Absolutely. Yes.
Absolutely.
We just think outside the box. I mean, we're going to do whatever we need to do as long as it's professional and creative. I have a woman on the team who's got a master's in marketing and a bachelor's in finance, and she's incredibly smart. And she does all of our marketing.
That's really interesting that somebody can do that. Usually it's a left brain, right brain type of thing. So she crosses that.
Oh, yeah, she's
that
so
boundary
smart.
between finance and marketing.
Yeah. Then we have another woman on the team who has a master's in project management, and she really helps track all of our transactions and make sure that we're a step ahead in our communication with every client. And so that's been really good. And then everyone else on the team is an agent.
Yeah, that is great. I will say that I've used you on a couple of the buy side and a couple on the sell side.
Mm-hmm.
So I have been very impressed with your team as well.
Thank you.
And
they're smart.
Yeah, they are smart. They're diligent. They follow up. And I love how you overcome objections personally. And in all the stories we've talked about over the years, as far as being able to handle people, you are a master at not getting mad at somebody, but being able to redirect them
Mm-hmm.
in their train of thought, even somebody that's angry at you. Can you remember any of those stories off the top of your head?
I remember a lot of those stories. So, it is an honor, and I don't say that to be cheesy. It is an honor if somebody selects us to represent them in this enormous transaction. And as I stated earlier, it's so stressful. For most people, it's very, very stressful. And there is a tremendous amount of emotion that is involved in that. Yeah. And so you just approach it knowing that the situation they're in right now doesn't define them. And it also isn't personal. There is emotion connected. And so that's what we as a team talk a lot about, that this particular situation or this particular client and the level of frustration that they are feeling or experiencing, we have to look at it from their shoes every single time. And so then once we look at it from their shoes, we are able to provide those different solutions, right? Because we have a better angle on what their pain points are. And so if we provide solutions that really get to the root of those pain points, it completely minimizes the level of frustration or objections that you spoke to very quickly. And it's a win-win for them. At the end of the day, we're just trying to do the win for them.
Well, you're wicked smart on all that, so
I'm wicked smart. Thanks.
Wicked smart.
Wicked.
Go with a Bostonian accent if I could, but I'm not good at that part of it.
That's okay.
That's okay.
Yeah.
So you have now only been doing this for going on 4 years.
In October. Yeah.
And you also did something I was very impressed with early on. You got a listing on a very large property. Didn't know quite how to handle that. So you made a phone call. Who did you call?
That's so funny that you remember that. So I had, an extremely large 10-acre property that happened to be a very good friend of mine. And I did not know what I was doing. And I started doing some research. It was a 7,000 square foot home. And I started doing some research online because they were going to live in the home while they were selling it, which always causes an additional level of stress, right? But that's what most of us have to do. And you work around it. So I got online and I started looking at multi-million-dollar properties that had pictures where the clients clearly still lived in those properties. Usually you would tell by the master bedroom closet or the kitchen that, oh, this is still lived in, it's not just staged. And so I downloaded pictures from those listings so that my clients could see what does decluttering really look like when you live in a property. And I noticed that there was a name of an agent in these multi-million-dollar property listings that was very consistent. And so I decided to Google her. And I
think we can go ahead and say that name. I mean, I'm impressed that you've made that phone call.
So. Okay, so her name is Allie Beth Allman, and I had no idea who she was. And I decided to Google images, and I saw her giving keys to George W. in the Oval Office. And I was like, holy moly. So I just sent her an email, and I introduced myself and said, my name's Kristen Wright. I'm new to real estate. I've got a listing, and I am absolutely at a loss on how to handle this. Would you be able to have coffee? And she was incredibly gracious and responded back, yes. And so I was able to meet with her, and there's a reason she's so successful. She is very smart. She has a tremendous amount of experience in the business, but most of the really successful people I've ever run into, like yourself, they're very gracious with their knowledge. They want to share it with people. They want to pass it on. And that's exactly what she did for me. So I took my questions and I met with her, and when we sat down, she said, so tell me what your questions are. And I said, if you don't mind, I would first rather hear what you think is the most important thing for me to know going into something like that. And so she shared that, and then we just talked from there, and it was incredibly beneficial and helpful for me. And then I was able to go back to my clients and share everything that I learned, because there's a risk in going with a new agent.
Yeah.
Especially, with a property of that size. Well, I shouldn't say that. We work really hard to understand that no matter if you have a $180,000 property or a $1.8 million property, your castle is your castle. Mm-hmm. And absolutely. It is very important to you. And so we do treat our clients the exact same way, and we roll out the red carpet no matter who they are. But for me, I was a little worried about that property and just how to market it and the type of buyers that I would be working with. And so it was great. It was a really good learning.
And I love that story because it shows your, what is the right word I'm looking for? Your initiative, mm-hmm. as far as going out and reaching out to this very successful agent at another company, one of your competitors technically.
Sure.
And that she was gracious enough to go in and take that and instill knowledge, and that you had the guts to go out there and do that. That is impressive. And then that she was good enough to reciprocate. It's a magical story to me. I get chills thinking about it.
You're so
going,
funny.
how great. I mean, for you doing that,
yeah,
and not having this, you're definitely not mousy. Nobody can ever accuse you of that. Mm. But having the guts to go out there and actually make that phone call and reaching out to them, and mm-hmm. then having that same response, that is just absolutely magical in my mind. And it shows how open you are to learning and growing and reaching out and not sitting back and mm-hmm. and taking it, but to actually go do what's best for your client, which in this case was a good friend, mm-hmm. and going out there and reaching out, how can I be better? What can I do better? Mm-hmm. And then doing that. It's just absolutely a testament to both of you.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I don't necessarily see it as guts as much as I just see it as a necessary step. But I will tell you that we focus incredibly hard on my team on the relationship with the realtors. So our process is different. Our focus, we believe that the industry should be customer service and not sales. And people get scared of that. Like, we have to explain to our clients that still means we're a shark in protecting your money, and we're going to get you as much as possible. And we do. But it's very customer focus. And part of that is for us to really initiate a relationship with the realtor on the other side immediately. And so if we've got buyers that are interested in a listing, before we submit an offer, we reach out to that agent and we're like, so tell us what would be important to your client in an offer, other than price, of course. And is there anything in particular they're looking for? And we just let that other side know that we're going to be professional and easy to work with. And then we submit a low offer, right? But we submit a low offer knowing that we have to advocate for our client, but we also need to be really professional to the other side. And we want them to want to work with us. And so they'll counter, and then we get to a place where we should be. Right. But we start that immediately. If we're the listing agent and there is a buyer, then we work really hard building a relationship with that buyer's agent, because we have a lot to go through. We have an option period. We have repair negotiations. We have, the whole financing approval process that we really need a partnership in with the other side. So even though our approach is different, we are insanely professional, and we are finding repeatedly that the other agents want to work with us, and we want to work with them. And so it's not fake, it's not phony, it's all in the best interest of our client.
Always. And just switching gears slightly on what's in the best interest of the client, what's the best value you have ever gotten from a $5 Starbucks gift card?
Oh my gosh. $60,000. Okay. Yes. So
not mentioning
anything about that, but yes, it was $60,000.
Well, you can tell the negotiation portion of that. I don't think we want to say who the parties were, but
yeah. So I just worked really hard on a negotiation for a luxury build. And the lot premium was pretty high. And I had gone in a couple times before that negotiation to start building a relationship with that sales rep from the builder. And I had made the comment that I would be happy to get them a $5 Starbucks gift card if they would reduce that lot premium. And he just laughed. And then, a couple trips later, when we were sitting down to do the contract, and we did end up getting $60,000 off the lot premium, much to his chagrin, I did the next day take a $5 Starbucks gift card. And he really appreciated it. It's still in his office with a handwritten note just saying thank you. And I did appreciate the collaboration. And it was to the best interest for my clients. And they're his clients now too.
Yeah. And you have a logo and a theme to your company. What is that?
It's Be the Reason. So when I worked as an executive with the telecommunications company, we would have internal themes for our employees, and they would last a couple years. And one of them that really resonated with me was Be the Reason. And at the time, we didn't use a bumblebee in any of it, but I always wanted to. And then it was Be the Reason the customer loves us and they don't want to go anywhere else. And so I knew when I went into real estate, somehow I wanted to incorporate that, but I didn't want to be the reason my clients loved me. I wanted to be the reason that my clients felt educated and proud and confident of what they just accomplished in real estate. And so I feel very strongly about that. So that's our brand. Each of the ladies on my team, they know how to be the reason, and they're amazing. You had asked earlier, there's an assessment that I give each person who wants to join my team. And I've taken so many assessments. I'm sure you have too. Yep. But this one is very comprehensive, and it's pretty lengthy, but it's all about your adaptive style and your natural style. And I wanted to be able to identify these women who join my team, who are all new agents, by the way, mostly. If they aren't, they've had their license for a very short period of time. But I wanted to identify that they are innately wired with service. And if they are not, if they're not already highly capable of negotiating, that they have the capability to learn that. And they all do. And we're very diverse. None of us are identical to the other. Thank the good Lord for that. But all of our core values are completely aligned. So we love our clients. We're going to protect our clients, and we are going to really help them get the best value deal possible. And that's what we do.
If somebody is looking to buy or sell a home, what should they look for in an agent? What questions should they ask? What should they look for? Because there's so many out there. Everybody has a relative that has a real estate license, and people don't know. They just go out and pick whoever is. What should they ask? What should they look for when hiring an agent to sell or buy a home?
Yeah, I think that they need to first identify what are the most important things to them. And those things can change depending upon the circumstance. Maybe it is top dollar. Maybe it is speed at which the house sells if you're listing your home. Maybe it's the commission or the cost that it's going to be for them to list their home with different people. I mean, there's a lot of options out there right now for people to choose from. But once you identify what are your priorities in listing your home, then start doing your homework and ask people. Don't ask people that you don't respect, because that's just crazy. Ask people that you really respect if they know of a good realtor. And then when they give you the name, do your homework on them. I mean, it's 2020. You can find so much out on the internet. You can find out if anybody has any grievances against them in the state of Texas on the TREC website. You can find out a lot of information from somebody's website. We have a website. It's BeTheReasonRealEstate.com. Look on that website. There's a ton of information.
BeTheReasonRealEstate.com?
BeTheReasonRealEstateGroup.com.
Oh, BeTheReasonRealEstateGroup.com.
Yes.
I left out the group. So
yes.
It's BeTheReasonRealEstateGroup.com.
That's right.
So now that we've said it 3 or 4 times, people should remember it.
Maybe.
Isn't that a little tricky how we did that?
I'm glad we did that. So you just need to do your homework. And then I think in the interest of a seller, they should really select 3 that they would like to interview. I am extremely confident when we go on interviews, and anybody on my team goes on an interview. What we offer is very different. But that does not mean that it's what that seller needs at that moment. And if that seller needs a 0 commission, sign in the yard, pictures online, and then that's it, then that's what they need. And we respect that. We're not going to force ourselves on anybody ever. Then it becomes sales, right? We're very confident in what we have to offer, and our business is blowing up. So that's what we'll continue to do. And it's nice because the people who are looking for what we provide, we have a partnership out of the gate, and it makes it very much easier for everyone when they know how hard we're working for them and when we are meeting the needs that they've already identified they had.
Yep. Well, I do know that you service your clients very, very well, very thorough. Your people follow up with everything in the transactions we've been in. It has been so smooth, and a lot of things that I've been thrown back at, hey, go handle this, is already handled for me, even pre-negotiated by you on most of those. So I have been thrilled with what we've done there.
Thank you. But here's the deal. We make mistakes, and we make mistakes on almost every single transaction. And I tell my clients, the great news is I don't make the same mistake twice. And because every single transaction is different, it's not a cookie cutter, which is why I love this industry. I love it. Every single time you deal with a different property, you deal with a different agent, you deal with a different client, you deal with a different title company, you deal with a different lender, you deal with everything that is different. The scenario itself is different. So yes, you can go to real estate school and try to learn about buying or selling. But if you don't come to the table with a high level of flexibility and enjoy that part, then you'll climb the walls. Yeah.
Wow. Now completely switching gears. Is there anything you want to add on the real estate side? Is there anything that you haven't told me that we should make sure we get into this interview?
Well, I think for my team, we will continue to always evaluate how to do things differently. So our approach right now is meeting a lot of needs, and it is clearly working, and we will keep doing it. But we will always look at doing things differently. And what does that look like? And can we add this? Or do we need to rethink this? And just, we talk a lot. We have a very open communication style within the team. And so we're determined that in our little neck of the woods, we are not under a sales industry. We are under customer service. And we will keep doing that. Now, the onus is on us to explain to our clients that that is a very good thing for them when it comes to their money. Because nobody just wants a nice realtor. Yuck. Like, you don't want that. You want a realtor that you know has your back, and that they're going to do a lot for you, but they have your back, especially when it comes to your money. And so that responsibility lies squarely in our lap on how we effectively communicate that with people. But we are, because we're continuing to see our business grow. So we will keep looking for ways to communicate it. We do not believe that we are competition out there, because what we do, we're so proud of, and it's very different. And yet we really respect people that do things their own way and are really successful. We just don't embrace an approach that doesn't naturally work for us. And so that's what we're doing.
Being true to yourself. That's
being true to yourself,
key.
Right. So it doesn't matter if you've had your license for 2 months or for 2 years. If you are embracing being a realtor in the way you are naturally wired, then you will be successful. And that is such a privilege to watch the agents on my team and how they're just growing. It's really, really overwhelming in a very positive way.
That is absolutely awesome. Absolutely awesome. Now, but you are also, turning this back around now, you are also a real estate investor now, correct?
I am. Yes.
You are.
Yes.
Okay. So,
with DGRE.
yes.
Yes.
That right there, yeah.
DGRE. I always forget the I, Darwin.
That's okay. It doesn't matter.
Okay, good.
It doesn't matter.
Good.
So what investments are you in?
We are currently in 3 investments. We are in Plano, in Fredericksburg, and in Denton. Okay. Our goal is to be in 7 more. We haven't invested in the last year because I've really invested in my team and my business, but we're excited about doing that. So let's talk about you for a minute, Darwin.
Oh, really?
I know you hate that. But okay, so when we moved to Texas 6 years ago, my husband had said, the economy in Texas from a housing perspective is amazing. Yep. And we moved here with my job in telecommunications, but he was like, I really want to invest in real estate. And first, I thought he meant residential real estate investment, and that just terrified me. But he meant multifamily. And so he started doing his homework. We've been married 32 years, and my husband's a good guy. And so
great. Yeah.
He's got a good read on people. And so he spent months trying to figure out who we should invest with, because it's a lot of money.
Oh, yeah. Very important.
And, it goes back to everything I said about residential real estate. You've got to work with somebody that you trust, because it's such a large amount of money for an individual. And so my husband heard you speak, and he was so attracted to what you had to say, because you, like us, have no problem sharing your mistakes. And you were very open with the audience about a mistake that you had made and what you wanted them to avoid at all costs. And that was extremely impacting to him. And he came home that night and he said, okay, I found who we want to invest in. The guy's name is Darwin German. And I'm like, Darwin German? And I think I said, what did he look like? I don't know. I was like, because your name's so unique. But that's how our relationship started. And then, you moved out to our neck of the woods, and now we're very good friends with you and your wife. But that was a really good thing for us. And we want to continue to invest because we clearly understand the profitability in it, and especially for our future.
Well, what are your goals in investing? Why invest in real estate? Why are you guys doing that? What is your reason?
Yeah, our reasons is it's for retirement. It's completely for retirement, and just that we have the ability to not worry. So I was an avid 401k devout believer.
Mm-hmm.
And
are you still?
So I am not.
Okay.
I am just a tiny 401k person now, but it has been far surpassed by real estate investing in multifamily. And I know how picky you and your team are, and I know how married you are to the responsibility of protecting your investors' money. And so I don't say this about anybody ever, but I would say it about you and your team, that we would almost blindly trust you with our money. And that's an incredible testament. Like, I don't ever recommend that to any of my clients, but that's how we feel about you. So I do feel very strongly. Am I going to get a $5 Starbucks gift card from this?
Oh, you'll get 2 of them.
Okay, thank you. Before I go on, I want to make sure we set that bar.
We set that bar. Yeah.
Thank you.
She's getting compensated with 2 $5 Starbucks gift cards. So let's go ahead and get that, that disclosure out there.
Absolutely. Okay. Because I didn't know I was going to say all this, but I do feel so much trust for you that I've referred a lot of friends and neighbors to DGREI, and I will continue to do that. So, and that's meaningful,
It's extremely meaningful to us as well. Referrals are the best testament we can get.
Right.
And you've even done something. You went ahead and hosted an event at your house.
I did.
Yeah.
And I invited neighbors. Yeah.
Friends and neighbors. And how many people came to that, by the way?
I don't know how many did. I don't remember.
About 40 people came to your house.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And we've had a bunch of those already invest with us.
Yeah.
Because that's one of the things, one of your talents is you are a great connector. And you know everybody, you network with everybody, you're honest, you're fun, you're outgoing. And so because of that, people are just attracted to you, but then you also want to help people succeed.
Yeah.
So,
but I don't connect lightly.
Oh.
So I do believe in helping each other. I believe that wholeheartedly, but I will not give a referral for the sake of giving a referral. And I think that's what people know about me, is that if I refer DGREI to somebody and say, this is a really good place for you to look to invest, they know that I would not do that unless I meant it. Same thing with a landscaper, same thing with a general contractor or a roofer or any of those. It's a very big deal for me to put my stamp of support. And let's face it, I'm not all that. I get it. But if I'm going to refer somebody's business to someone that I care about, then there's a responsibility there.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. So that's it.
No, and I appreciate it. We don't take that lightly either.
That might be worth 3 Starbucks gift cards. I'm just saying.
Yeah, you know what? We'll see. We'll see how you finish this up before I make any more promises on gift cards there.
Okay. Good.
Okay, so you're in Fredericksburg. That's one thing. And do you know what's going on that one right now, by the way?
I don't. No. But I do know that one is so unique. It's very cool because it has an Airbnb component to it. And so I need to go down there with my husband, and we need to check that out.
Yeah, go. You Airbnb down there. You've got a place to stay.
No, but share about Fredericksburg.
Oh, well, you're about to get a big check this month.
Oh, nice.
So you'll be able to turn that and reinvest that into another property. So
yes, and I told you walking in today, I really a regret that I did not invest in the office building in Irving, because this was an amazing opportunity. And I like trying new things like this. And the fact that you bless it takes away the headache from it, right? So you bless it as being, this is going to be a sound investment. And let's face it, right? Like nothing in this world is a sure thing. If 2020 doesn't solidify that bad boy, then nothing does. So we all know things can happen, and they do happen. But the due diligence that you and your team provide takes away an enormous amount of apprehension and stress. And so, yeah, I would like to do an office building. You going to do another one of those sometime?
An office building is not on the books right now. We do have 4 deals we're working right now.
I know.
So we have those. And the whole idea for us is to help grow our investors' money. So you invest in a few deals, and then those produce cash flow to help augment your lifestyle, pay for that fancy Mercedes, and pay for that. But then also refinance and pull cash out like we're doing in Fredericksburg. So you'll get a big check coming out of that. So you'll be able to invest. We increase the value of the property on that, refinance, take that out pretty much tax-free, tax-deferred technically, and give that back to you so that you can choose another investment to go ahead and put that into.
Great.
So you'll be able to get into another deal here in short order just because of that one deal right there.
That's good.
So it's all keep on going. Do you have any advice for potential investors? And I'm not looking for a plug for me. I'm just saying in general, if somebody is going to invest money, most people that invest, they've got some type of career that they do, just like you, and are successful in it, which produces enough cash flow to invest. What type of recommendations would you give to people on looking for on where to invest, what to invest with, who, things like that? What advice would you give?
Yeah, I think do your homework and go with your gut. That's what I would say. So the thing that attracted us to you the most was your willingness to share your education and your background and your mistakes, because you have such a sense of responsibility in protecting somebody's money, right? If you had not done that, and if that wasn't who you were, we would not have invested in you. And there are hundreds of people out there who would love to see our $50,000 or our $100,000 and, make all sorts of promises, but you don't hear from them any mistakes. And you haven't made many mistakes at all. So it's, that's also amazing and wonderful. I really appreciate that. But you are very transparent with how you do business. And so if something seems too good to be true, then it probably is. But it is the responsibility of the person who has the money to do the homework on where they're going to put the money. And so look on your website, listen to your podcast, read your emails, do all of those things. And Darwin, you're very approachable. So, if somebody comes to one of your meetings each month, they can ask you things, and they shouldn't be afraid not to. And your team and the team that you're building is very customer centric, and they can reach out to any of them. And if somebody doesn't have an answer, I'm confident that they will get the person an answer. Absolutely. But in answer to your question, is there any advice that I have? It's do your homework. Just do that.
Okay, good. Couple final questions here for you.
Okay,
we'll talk about that. What is a major life goal you want to get done that you have not done yet?
A major life goal.
It could be an activity, it could be a goal, it could be anything. Is there something you want to put this out to the universe, say, I would like to do this? Because there's somebody out there listening that can help you do that. What would that thing be?
So I really would love to make a very significant impact in the industry to change to customer service instead of sales. And Be the Reason Real Estate Group is doing that in our tiny little neck of the world, but I would like to continue to see that grow. because I have very deep conviction that the client needs it. It is a need from the client when entering into a real estate transaction. I also have very deep conviction that it has to be the right type of person to do that. And so I would like to see this continue to grow because of the need. It doesn't have to do with me. It doesn't have to do with, any of me. It's a need that is out there in our economy for a client.
Wonderful. Well, I'm sure somebody out there can help you with that. So does that mean people that are in different necks of the woods, different areas that could join the team, help grow the team? Is that
Absolutely. But, I've had very tenured realtors reach out to me about perhaps being on my team. And that's just not a good fit. What they have done has worked for them so well. And I respect that. But what I am doing and what I want to continue to grow is very different from that. And so I don't want to make somebody feel like I'm, putting a square peg in a round hole. Because if you have been successful in your approach thus far, it's quite abrasive to be asked to change everything about your approach, yet still be in the same industry. So I am very open to different necks of the woods, but I haven't been able to wrap my head around somebody who's got a lot of experience in real estate being happy with what Be the Reason Real Estate Group is doing. And you have to be happy in your job.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You absolutely have to love it. So people out there that might be interested in meeting you or talking to you, what is your email address?
It is KristenWrightRealty@gmail.com.
Better spell that then.
Yes. KristenWrightRealty@gmail.com.
Kristen Wright Realty at gmail.com. Well, thank you so much for being our first guest on our video podcast in our new training center that we have going on here.
It's beautiful.
And so, it's available if you want to do training here. We're centrally located and we rent out the room and the professional audio video production and all of that. So
Thanks
wonderful.
for having me.
And thank you for being our first guest on the video side of this. And I appreciated you coming out and sharing all your wisdom.
Thank you.
Thank you.